DJ the Money Coach, coming to you in the beautiful Destin, Florida. And I just got back from amazing world tour. Well, it's not a world tour, but in essence, it could be a world tour with the Classic Climb Tour. Shout out to Erica Williams for the Classic Climb Tour and the ATL. Shout out to Tim Jackson. Shout out to Andre Hackett. Shout out to Todd the Billionaire. Shout out to James King. Shout out to all my friends who did an amazing speaking job and sharing the wealth of freedom to people. And all it takes is 4 words that you got to do. They're dirty little words. The first one is discipline. The second one is accountability. The third one is plug into a system that's successful. And the fourth one is do the work. And when you do that, you can achieve the pom-pom lifestyle, which is plenty of money, peace of mind. And then you can come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. So check this out. Literally, I was just in the ATL last night speaking on stage with my friends. And now, because I took the time to build the ABCs of wealth, to achieve the common sense strategy to achieve an American dream, I now have this. Look at that. Yeah, man. Isn't that something? So you can have this too. But let me tell you a little tip. You have to master the hard things in life while you're young, and life gets easier. You master the easy things in life, and life gets hard as hell, almost impossible to live the older you get. So I'm going to say that again. Master the hard things in life when you're young, and life gets easier, and it gets like this for you for the rest of your life. That's what I'm talking about. So you can have it too. All you got to do is come join us. And it's real simple. I wrote this book in 20 years of success. And it's a common sense strategy of achieving the American dream. And you too can come out here and enjoy this amazing lifestyle. So if you want to do that, get this book right now below, The ABCs of Wealth, the common sense strategy of achieving American dream. It's 20 years in the making to help you achieve the pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And you can come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. I'm DJ the Money Coach. I'll see you on the beaches of the world because you deserve it, have it as well. And all you got to do is achieve 4 dirty little words: discipline, accountability, plug into the system, and go to work. And you too can have the pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. Come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. So hit that link below. The first 10 people to get the book, The ABCs of Wealth, the Common Sense Strategy of Achieving American Dream, you get an autographed copy. And I'll even give you a 10-minute complimentary consultation for the first 10 because that's the kind of guy I am to help you achieve the American dream. I'll see you next time.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy, brought to you by the 7 Spheres of Money. Thank you for joining us for this program. And before we get started with the show, like the video, share it to everyone you know, and subscribe to the channel. Help us to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost this close to 700. Get us to 700 first, and then help us to get to 1,000. So we can continue to spread this gospel to the masses, to everyone out there, so they can get this real talk, from real black men, real black women, and also receive the gospel of financial freedom in the pom-pom lifestyle. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Very important topic tonight. So. Man, DJ, let's set it off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a very important topic, especially for black men. Mental health and friendships are extremely important, especially in this time in the world right now. So a lot of people that are males, but not necessarily men, are espousing effeminate energy right now. And it's very unfortunate. I mean, you can't turn on anything right now without seeing some agenda that's emasculating, destroying, uh, creating a false narrative about Black people and especially Black men. I mean, it's to a point where it's repulsive. I mean, let's just be brutally honest about it. And if you are not mentally healthy and you don't have real friends, you will become a purveyor of this bullshit that they're pushing throughout the world. And you'd have to be blind, deaf, and dumb to not realize that they're personally coming after Black men and Black families. I mean, dude, it's to the point now that I've seen commercials with Asian men with Black women. Now, I ain't against that in any shape, size, or form, but the narrative is just amazing because you can't see, when you turn on the TV, a false narrative of whites, Asians, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Italians. I mean, dude, it's like they got this playbook and they pushing it hard and fast, and we just stepping to the side and we are adopting this mental foolishness. And so what does that have to do with mental health and friendship? Because if you're a strong Black man right now and you're not standing up for what you know is right, then you have a mental illness. That's the reason why I wore this shirt tonight. You know, we replace I with we, and we turn illness into wellness. Because there's no way possible I can sit in my home and turn on a sports event, turn on an educational event, and the first advertisement I see has something pervasively, and it's supposed to be innocuous and harmless about family units. But when I look at that advertisement, it doesn't represent our families. And for me, when you see these people, yep, they got to make a living. You know what, man? Hats off to Kyrie Irving. I don't know how long that brother's going to be able to, you know, stay on his stand, because, I mean, let's be real, man. $22 million is a lot of money, but at the same time, it's not a lot of money if you got to give up your soul and your mental health, and you don't have real friends to tell you, hey, man, what you're doing is right, or hey, man, what you're doing is wrong. And so I'm going to challenge these men out here that just, I'm going to challenge you on one thing and one thing only. If you are mentally sharp, you should not be able to ignore actual truth. Let's just talk about truth, okay? What do I mean by that? Mentally healthy men of all races, mentally healthy men, they know there's no way physical that a man can bear a baby. They know there's no way physically that today I'm DJ the money coach and tomorrow I go get reassignment of my sexual organs and I become Deidre the money coach. And now I'm supposed to acknowledge and address you based on your feelings emotionally that you think you are a woman. Or conversely, you go from being anatomically, physically, a woman one day, because that's the way God brought you into the world, and the very next day, you've, got a set of testicles
and a penis, and now I'm going to immediately start addressing you as a man. Only a mentally challenged person or a person who has no financial stability or financial sovereignty could, in their right mind, address that person from another sexual orientation. And this ain't a sexual orientation, this is a sexual assignment biologically. So, how do you, as a black man raising black children, tell your children to start addressing this person differently? And now, in the highest of offices, we are sitting up here talking about we have a 4-star admiral who's a man. Now, I'm not going to disrespect you, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit up here and address you for what you're not. That's a health issue. That's a mental health issue. Because that same person, they can, find out through tests that they have prostate cancer. And the only person that can get prostate cancer biologically is a man.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk.
Yeah.
So mentally, we're being challenged, man, to stand on your ground for what you know is factually true. It's got nothing to do with your religious beliefs, your political beliefs. This is just a biological question. And so if I start changing my mental philosophy about truth, then I am mentally challenged for the rest of my life. So now I got to fall and lay down with everything. So what's next? Bestiality? Now a dog now being identified as a human being, and you have to address him as a human being. And more or less with the way the government is going, in certain situations, if you would address this person who was a man literally yesterday, and today, because of sexual reassignment, became a woman, and you don't address them as such, you may be brought up on charges for sexual harassment. Now you want that person to lead us. How can I have my children follow somebody who is confused? So there's no way I can start accepting this. I mean, man, this is just amazing. I mean, it's a whole different deal to deal with when you're talking about the sexual orientation. But for somebody to say, yesterday I was this, now I'm that. Now you're telling me a mentally healthy, strong black man that know that you're not what you profess to be because you had some operation. And now you got to take, estrogen and all this stuff, or you got to take testosterone for the rest of your life so that you can appear. I'm supposed to address you as another gender. That's a mental health challenge. Now, that was saying we have more than enough mental things that we are challenged with to actually have to deal with something as foolish as that. I mean, poverty. Real illnesses that people are born with: Down syndrome, autism, ALS. Just to name a few, these are real illnesses that people have. Depression.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at your core of your friends and real friends, not these fly by night. A real friend is somebody who you can have an agreement to disagree about stuff that you don't equally believe in, but you have respect, honor, dignity, and loyalty because you respect them as a person and what they stand for. and they will tell you when you're not being authentic. They'll have the freedom and luxury to actually tell you when you're wrong about something without you trying to, buff up your chest and you want to go battle. Man, it is sickening right now that, man, I can barely watch any type of television at all. I mean, I don't watch a lot of television as it is. I do have a vice of watching movies because I don't know many people that don't like a good movie. But if I turn on, a program, and especially sports, because I'm a former athlete, as is yourself, and everything that comes outside of that athletic event is telling me something contrary to actual truth, biological truth, that I got to start listening, because eventually you're going to fall for it. You can't keep watching something and it doesn't numb you to the propaganda that's being pushed at you. So now you are mentally challenged. And now when you're having conversations with your friends, if your friends don't have the freedom, they may have money, they may have a high paying job. And now that job says, hey, man, you got to do A, B, and C to keep this job. And that goes against all your beliefs and the truths you know to be empirical truths. This is the funny thing. So you can't change math. 5 times 5 is always 25, but that's not what they're telling us now. I mean, think about that. So you have to think twice if you're mentally challenged about what is an empirical truth? Well, what is an immutable truth? What is a universal truth? Now, if I start accepting these things, I can start going crazy. And then if my friends who are high income earners making, 150, 250 a year, but they got jobs, all of a sudden they jobs say, hey man, guess what? When you keep coming in at this job, you got to see this truth as a non-truth, and you got to see this false narrative as the real truth, or you can't work here anymore. Now that person has a real hard decision to make. Because here's what that person knows. Very rarely, even their most stout friends are going to be able to support them financially unless they really down like that. Man, I know this ain't right, but I got 4 kids back at home. I got a wife. I got a mom that I'm taking care of. And I've got this lifestyle created for them. And I don't believe in this, but what is the message I am conveying to my children? And then if I do stand on principle, kudos to the football coach at Washington State, Rolovic, that say, hey man, I'm not getting vaxxed. I got nothing against vaccinations, but for me personally, I can't see why I should get vaxxed. But now you told me if I don't do that, I ain't got a job. So which way do you go? And then again, if your friends are compromised, now they don't tell their truth because they got to keep that job to keep that lifestyle. So at this point in time in America, especially for Black men, man, dude, you need to have a mental checkup from the neck up, and you need to have some real friends, some real advisors that can keep it 100 with you and say, hey, man, here's the reality. Now, and in all these scriptural books, from the Bible to the Torah to the Quran, and I'm not summarizing, I'm paraphrasing. Eventually, what's good will be perceived as bad, and what's bad will be perceived as good. And that's when you know we are in the end of times. And right now, all the indicators are so blaringly that everybody's rolling over because they have financial insecurity. And they're out here, and man, the quote by Malcolm X, man, is the most powerful. Somebody showed it the other day where he's sitting down and interview. He said, man, all comedians, athletes, and entertainers are nothing but puppets. You're not going to see an actor, an entertainer, an athlete being a person that's leading other cultures. That's not going to ever happen. Why is that happening in our community? So now, that was quoted, I think, like 50 years ago. And like he said, they're court jesters. They're entertainers. But all of a sudden, they have massive influence and power in our community, and nobody is pushing back on that. You're a basketball player, and you're going to try to give me science. You're an entertainer who shakes your ass, and you're going to try to tell me about philosophical things. But who has their hand up your back, steering you left to right, up and down? And where are, I mean, man, it's quiet like crickets. Where are the real pastors? Where are the real leaders in the community to say, hey, man, this stuff is not right? But we're rolling over. And so now you're mentally compromised. And now your freedoms are being taken away from you. Man, my daughters went to a museum the other day, a museum on U.S. history, and they printed out the Declaration of Independence. Man, I would challenge you, go read that document. And ask yourself, where are you mentally? What are the truths that you know, just like gravity? You know, I live in a 2-story home. I jump out this window. You can tell me all you want to that gravity don't exist. And when I fall, break my leg, damn near die, I better tell you just the opposite. And your friends can be right there, or your fake friends. You're getting a check. Man, man, it's something else. So you have to be willing to stand, and guess what? You're going to have to give up a lot if you stand on real truths right now, because if you don't, you are going to be mentally challenged for the rest of your life. And eventually you're going to be in that pit on the side of the road with the rest of the dead bodies. And people are probably watching this like, man, I don't get, yeah, because you're now accepting all this stuff. You're going along to get along. So they're, testing. Again, what comes next in a reprobate mind? Bestiality, pedophilia.
Already here.
Right. Already pushing legislation to legalize this stuff. And you're going to tell me I'm delusional? And then my friends who are not free, hey, man, don't rock the boat, man. Oh, okay. They'll be coming and knocking on your door next. But here's the funny part about it. They represent maybe 1% of the population. So you have to ask yourself a question. Because we have, 360 million people in the United States of America. I'm pretty sure there's not 36 million, 40 million. Because it's only 40 million black people in the United States. So you're telling me, because if you watch this Medium, if I just came down here from Mars and I turned on any media, I would be rest assured to believe that 60-70% of the population is part of the alphabet mafia. Because that's all I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Real talk. So I got to create an environment that's conducive for strong mental health. How do I do that? Number one, get yourself in a good book. And I'm talking about a book of God. Now, whatever that book is you depend on, like I said, it could be the Bible, it could be the Quran, it could be the Torah. But I think you should get in that book. And this is where my pastor back in the day, Pastor Donald from Chicagoland Bible Church, he said, hey, here's your responsibility. Do not look at the personality. Read the scripture and make sure it's meaningful, measurable, and manageable based on your interpretation of the words you read. Don't ever put me up on the pedestal. Because there is no perfect man on this planet. So whatever my interpretation of the words that I got at least an 8th grade solid United States American education, I should be able to read and interpret what those scriptures tell me. And then I'm going to look out on the landscape and see the stuff that's being bombarded, pushed down our throats, and ask myself one question. Why are they doing this? And what's the agenda? And then the second follow-up question, follow the money trail. So if you take that and engraft that into your soul and start walking by those principles, again, meaningful, measurable, and manageable, based on your interpretation, what you read, what you comprehended, not what Nick told me. And then ask yourself, is this insanity or am I this healthy person standing? And then get yourself that village around you that you can, number one, again, man, it all goes back to money. Because here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If I am consumer debt free, if I own my home, my car, and I don't live way outside of my, means, I can stand up against some of this stuff. But if I don't, hey man, I got to take it any way they push it at me. Bend over, grab your ankles. And especially in our community, because they are on assault. I mean, I remember when I was in college and I said, I'm going to write this movie called Extinct. And part of it, I was, kidding about it, but part of it, I wasn't. Like the Spotted Owl, I was like, hey man, I mean, this is in the early 90s, bro. I was like, the black man is going to be extinguished. And what do you see now here in 2021? And here's the hypocrisy. Mentally, check this out. They have so much hate for the past president, right? If that past president would have mandated through the government the vaccination, how many people you think in this country would be pushing that narrative right now? Think about it. Think about it. I'm not a proponent for the last president, but what I'm saying, I want you to think deeply. If he were to have mandated what this new president is doing, how many Americans would be jumping out here, frolicking, talking about get the vax? How many comedians, how many athletes and entertainers would be doing commercials and videos about that if he would have won to say it's a mandate? Let's keep it a buck. How many of your friends that look like you who abhor the last president would be on that train, the vax train? How many of them would have been on that train that, oh yeah, let's make ourselves the first 4-star admiral? Come on, man. What are you going to tell a little 5, 6-year-old boy or girl. Oh, that's the first lady admiral in the history of the United States of America military? No, son, daughter, that is a man. But dad, they're telling me that's a woman. No, it's not. Can't reproduce. Don't have natural, breasts. They're steroid up. If they taking that stuff, you'll have a full-born beard, and everything else. I mean, think about that. Honestly, think about that, because so much hate towards that guy, and rightfully deserved. If he would have done the things that old boy is doing right now, how many people in our community would be out here advocating, caping, and gaslighting these narratives? Let's be real about it. I'm gonna stop right there. We're gonna flip it back over to you because, hey man, what started out to be just the opening statement turned into a monologue.
Oh man, I mean, just let it flow. We just let it flow, man. You're going in, man. And what I gotta say about all of that, because this is about mental health. Everything you touched on brings us back to psychology. So that's another thing that we need to learn. Is we need to learn psychology, and I mean the original psychology, not this new psychology, because in this new psychology, in the new what was it called, the DSM book that has all the mental disorders in it.
Yeah,
the new version of
they changed everything.
The new version of the DSM book have declassified a lot of the behaviors that you just described. So now it's become normal rather than a mental illness. So don't learn that new psychology with all the new changes, but learn psychology in order to recognize a lot of what we're talking about here. One thing you said about accepting the false narrative as truth and rejecting the true empirical evidence and facts. Cognitive dissonance is
that's a great, yep, man.
That's a mental disorder right there,
man. That is the perfect analogy. Cognitive dissonance, dude.
Yep.
Man, would have never thought you would equate that to something like this, because that was about business and false wealth and all. But you're so right.
Cognitive, all that is you hold on to a particular idea that a belief that you hold as true, and then you get presented with contradicting information and you become uncomfortable and can't be open or accept the other information because you're too tied to your existing belief.
It's funny you say that. Mm-hmm. I used to teach my children, and I used to teach the kids that I would coach. I said, let me tell you what the difference is between prejudice, bias, and truth. They said, what do you mean, Coach DJ? I said, well, okay, so let's say you grew up. I grew up in a hate-filled home. And I didn't know it was a hate-filled home. But anything that didn't look like me, talk like me, and my family, we hated it. And we're taught to hate it. But then I went out into society, right? And I started finding out that we all humans, and we actually share the same belief system. You go to church, I go to church. You like apple pie, you like baseball. I do too. But all of a sudden, you don't look like me. And I was told the only people that go to church, like apple pie, and play baseball look like us. So right there, I have been indoctrinated to have hatred, which is prejudice. But now I get outside and find out that is not. So now I've got a huge problem, because if I accept that outside person like me, I can't go back home and bring that person because those people at home are going to say, hey, you got a choice to make, boss. You either choose that truth over there or you choose this false truth here. And if you choose that truth, we're no longer going to associate with you ever again. Now, bias is where you like somebody, and just because of things you guys do together, you tend to favor that person or have deference for that person or organization over somebody else that is doing something just different, like a baseball team. You may like the Washington Nationals, I may like the Cubs, and anything the Cubs do, I'm biased. And if the Nationals do something similar, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, but man, we scored over here, we did this, we did that. Everything, my perspective is gonna be through a Cubs lens. But I don't hate, I just got a bias. But the truth is, guess what? Last night, the brother from the Braves, he hit 2 home runs, knocked in like 6 RBIs. Facts, baby. It was recorded. You don't have to be a Braves fan, but you know, you saw him hit 2 baseballs over the fence, knocking all those runs, and they won 9-2. Your bias and your prejudice just went out the window because the truth is, you saw him knock them balls over the wall.
Yep.
And at that point, you're either going to accept that real truth, and you're going to eliminate that bias on saying this team is better than the other one. And matter of fact, are you going to be able to go home because they don't want to accept the truth? And see, a lot of times what happens, Nick, that connection to your family is more powerful than the truth, because you want that love that you've gotten unconditionally to never go away. And now you don't want to be isolated. You know what I'm saying? Because those people over here may not roll with you like your family roll with you, but your family say, hey man, there's a line here, baby.
Yep.
And you got to choose. But if you choose truth and we didn't tell you that was the truth, then we stand the way we are and we'll see you never. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm now compromised mentally, as you said, cognitive dissonance, because my love of Philly from my, parents and my family has been compromised because I've been revealed the actual real truth. And now I know I can't go back doing that without it always being a lie. But now I step into the cognitive dissonance zone and I just accept it.
Yeah, right. Hey, and the second half to this topic, friendship, that's where the friends come in. That's why those real friendships are important. When you can no longer, on the flip side, when you can no longer accept, those beliefs, and you become the outcast or ostracized from your family, those real friends become your new extended family, because without that, with that isolation and feeling alone, that becomes detrimental to your mental health.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And see, the thing is, it's probably like, man, 1 in 1,000 people who can actually stand on that truth and be by themselves.
Right, exactly.
And still be healthy and strong. It's tough. It's extremely tough. And eventually people get broken and some people don't. And it's where we are. And see, when they know the science behind this, and they know they just keep flooding your system with this false narrative and false propaganda, you eventually gonna roll onto their side, and then they'll give you these, highly evolved words like you're enlightened, you're progressive, you have evolved. No, I haven't.
Quite the opposite, actually.
Exactly.
Going in reverse and going
exactly.
backwards. Yep.
So that's where we are right now. And like you said, man, those friends, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. Because again, look at Kyrie Irving. Who's supporting Kyrie Irving right now? Nobody. Because they're like, oh man, he the same dude that said the earth is flat. He the same dude that, yeah, that's amazing. But here's a guy who's standing for something. And here's the reality. We're not going to know who's right or wrong, really, for 5-7 years.
There you go.
And here's the thing. They always got an immediate comeback when somebody dies that was vaccinated. They always got immediate comeback when somebody raped somebody who had a sexual reassignment. They got a justification, a rationale. And what I teach my children, I say, hey, what is an excuse? It's just a reason stuffed inside of a lie. Because I've seen articles where they have the genderless bathrooms. We went to a hotel, had genderless bathroom in Atlanta. On the main floor. Yeah. Genderless bathroom. So now I feel like I'm a woman. So I'm going to walk right into the woman's bathroom and I'm going to, do some ungodly things to a woman because I feel like, and because the establishment, I don't want to get litigated, sued, because you look like a guy, but you told me you feel like a woman. But at the same time, I'm going to push that aside. Oh man, that's an aberration. That just one out of the many happened. But look, and then they'll immediately come out and try to convince you, well, man, heterosexuals, they rape everybody. Oh, people died of so and so. But guess what? One is one too many. Put yourself in that situation. See, I'm very protective of this because, man, I got young children.
Yeah.
I have young daughters, young sons. So I'm not going to sit up here and, confuse them with this idiocy. But again, hey, I stand on my own. And if I use up all my resources to defend those rights, so be it. So that's a healthy person that knows the difference between truth and false truth. But it takes a real man to stand on real truth because you know what's at stake.
Yeah. Yep.
And these guys know that. These powers that be know that. And so back to what Malcolm X said, just take the court jesters, the entertainers, the athletes, the comedians, and put them out on Front Street in our community and let them lead us. Shame on you.
Yep.
And I know everybody who's watching this that don't agree, I'm going to challenge you. Go open up a scientific book and tell me the scientific anatomy of a man, of a woman.
Simple.
Just that simple. I took a biology class. I took 2 of them in high school. And if I would have said a man's anatomy was a woman's anatomy on the test, I would have got an F. Real talk. And I wasn't that good in science.
Right.
But you're telling me today I can flip the script and then I can go genderless. So think how confusing that is to a young mind. You're in a grocery store or you're in a mall or a clothing store or something, and I remember I used to be kind of confused a little bit when I was in high school. I would see somebody that, when I didn't know what the word androgynous was.
Right.
Like, damn, is that and you don't want to say the wrong thing because now you don't want to hurt that person's feelings. But now they telling us, hey, I'm a them. I'm a they. And now, again, you're becoming mentally compromised. Notwithstanding the other things you got to be worried about in our community. Now you got to be worried about. But again, guess what? You voted these clowns in. See, And see, when Moses went up to the top of the mountain, left Aaron down there, and the people kept saying, "Hey man, we need a God. You better give us a God, Aaron, and we're gonna club you upside the head. All right, man, give me your gold, give me your jewelry. We'll make the golden calf." So people, oh man, how does that tie in? Again, man, pick your friends based on your morals, your principles, and your ethics, and stand on those. And you can stand on those if you are economically free. And what does that mean in today's world? You need to own real estate. You need to own businesses that cannot be compromised or canceled by the popularity groups that, again, represent, if 1%. Man, bro, you got that red pill and that blue pill. You better figure out which one you're going to imbibe. Real talk. And it ain't no surprise that they got these movies coming out. Again, hey, you got to protect these 6 inches between your ears. You got to protect that. Not for yourself, but you got to protect it for the generation behind us and the generation behind them. Because if not, man, dude, we're going to be running around here a whole bunch of confused puppies. And confused people are the ones that do the most hurt.
Yep.
Real talk.
No, that's real. That's real, because that confusion, again, is a mental disorder, mental illness, and people are learning that behavior from other mentally ill people, so they're becoming mentally ill as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And so again, what I'll say, and here's the irony of it, get off these meetings. Turn off the stuff, especially if you have young children between 0 to 12. It is your responsibility, no matter where you came from, balanced household or not, you know the difference between right and wrong. It is your responsibility to turn that stuff off. And if it's being taught in the public school system in the 3rd, 4th grade, it is your responsibility to get up there and be a participant, to push off that stuff, or you got to bring it home. Ain't nobody perfect, man. I get in my car, man, my car is loaded up with books and smooth jazz. And I understand that any information that's being, pushed out of them speakers, my children are taking in consciously and subconsciously. It's real, man. It is real. So I mean, this is a topic that I encourage people to hit us up with. Let's talk about it and give yourself a test. Hey, on the scale of 1 to 10, where are you mentally?
Right.
Just in terms of just basic things. Forget about the stuff we're talking about, what they forcibly trying to change the narrative of real truth. But where are you mentally in terms of, anxiety, depression, fighting poverty? Maybe you just, got separated from your loved one or your children. How is that affecting you on a scale of 1 to 10? Then how are you on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to, your financial aspect of your life? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you as a leader in your house? Who's leading you? And I would encourage you, I only take advice from 3 people in 3 categories. Number 1, spiritual advice. The person is already doing what I'm trying to get done in my life. And I'm emulating. And again, I'm doing my interpretation, meaningful, measurable, and manageable based on my comprehension of the scripture that I read. The second thing, leadership. What leaders or false leaders are you following? And then the third thing is business-wise. What business blueprints are you following that are successful, principled lead? And then gauge yourself in those 3 categories and come back and say, hey, if I'm falling short, where do I find those people at? And the first thing is, hey, pull out that library card, pull out that Audible app, and start doing a search. And I would encourage you to look up John C. Maxwell, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Check it out. Then check out, The Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, PhD. Check those things out. So you can understand. And then what I would do if I was you, I would read George Orwell's 1984.
Yep.
And if you really want to get deep, I would read Animal Farm.
Mm-hmm.
And ask yourself, where are we right now?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Juxtapose those together and see where we are. And if you still need help, then reach out. Hit us up. 866-395-3042. 866-395-3042. And we'll bring you some truth. Because guess what? We're free. And you'll find out freedom ain't free. And I would encourage you, hey, man, go get you a copy of the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights.
Yep. Yeah. Because all tying back to that mental health, man. It's all psychological. Because when you think about it, think about the narratives, you think about the propaganda, it's just one big psychological experiment, being done of us. When you talk about that small, those groups of people that only represent a small percentage of the population, they're able to influence the masses of people because of the mass media. So you mentioned the one Malcolm X quote about the entertainers being the leaders, which is also a mental disorder to follow or accept an entertainer as a leader or an expert on something that they have no training in, just as an aside. But Malcolm X also talked about the power of the mass media. He said it's the most powerful entity on the planet because it has the ability to make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. It's since the propaganda has been a major weapon since the beginning of time. Think about when a country invaded another country, it took over. The first thing they do is take over the media, the TV stations, the radio.
Absolutely. And what they do too, they burn the books.
Burn the books too. Yeah. So pre television and radio, they burn the libraries and the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Burn them down real fast. I mean, why do you think during slavery it was against the law to teach a slave how to read?
Right. Yeah.
Are you a slave right now today?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And if you were going to preach, if we're going to preach the word, you had to be supervised because, going back to what you said about your pastor, about that interpretation, you had to have that supervision from master to make sure you get in the interpretation that he wanted you to get.
Oh man, here's the funniest thing that I always found extremely profound but comical. Mm-hmm. When they have debates, when it's time to elect somebody, why do I need to have somebody telling me what the guy just said on stage? Think about that. Yeah. I'm watching the debate, but I got a commentator, I got an analyst, almost like a sporting event.
Right.
Oh, well, Nick, he did say that taxes were not going up, but that's not exactly what he said, Nick. Damn, isn't that what I just said? Isn't that what I just heard? No, because again, like you said, who's control of the narrative?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So now again, they say, man, all you got to do to turn a lie into truth to keep telling it over and over and over, and it'll eventually become the truth.
Yep.
And that's exactly what's happening. And so you, as a person that had mental health, and you start watching this stuff, you almost like, damn, man, am I the only one that saying that this stuff is crazy? And then people start changing slowly, Just like, I say, how do you boil a frog? 1 degree at a time.
1 degree at a time. Yep.
Gradually. That's what we getting. But now they just forcing it down. Hey, if you ain't on this program, you out.
Yep.
So now we're going to divide the country, and we're going to have civil war, man.
Yep, that's how I was looking. Yeah.
I hate to say that, but what else is going to be the end solution? Because they're not going to stop doing what they're doing.
Exactly. Right.
And the people that are compromised, that are following these people, man, dude, I can't. You're a basketball player. You're an entertainer. And here's the other irony about it. Them same cats, would they take basketball training from you if you did not play basketball at the highest level? Would they take dancing lessons from you if you didn't go to Juilliard? Would they take violin lessons from you if you didn't play at Carnegie Hall? Think about that. Think about that.
Crazy.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's deep.
But however, you ain't never opened up a science book. You ain't never done no case studies. But I'm supposed to all of a sudden take your word that you know the truth about something that you ain't even an amateur.
Mm.
You can't even be regarded as a novice. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So those same people that are on these platforms that are professionals as entertainers, I mean, they put at least 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to get where they are to become top 1% in their craft. They would laugh your ass out of the gym if you came in there and you and I came in there. Oh yeah, I used to coach Little League, so I can coach MLB baseball. I was the head coach of my Pop Warner. We went undefeated 3 years in a row. I'm going to run this NFL team now. Oh, you know what? We put a band together in my garage, and we made $100, and I'm going to teach you how to do this and be up on stage at the Oscars. They would laugh your ass out of the building, dude.
Yep.
Am I lying or what?
Nah, that's all fact.
Think about that, man. Let that seep in. If you're watching this right now, think about that. Next time you turn on that fucking television, and that person who spent 10,000 hours of deliberate practice being an expert as a basketball player, a football player, a dancer, a singer, a rapper, and now they're turning around and telling you with 0 hours how to take care of your body. How to tell you that a man is now a woman and a man can have a baby. Think about that, man. It almost goes back to school days at the end. Wake up!
Yep.
Because none of them, even if they knew you were paid to, right now they got a hard time having college coaches getting respect on the professional level with professional players. Dude, you're a college coach. I ain't listening to you. See, in college, I had to listen to you because I would lose my scholarship.
Right.
But I'm getting paid $40 million a year, and you will be replaced. I ain't listening. And what championships you got? But conversely, just like Malcolm said, I'm gonna put you on stage. Yeah, tell them that you should have, the vaccination because you're selfish. You should call Nicolette now because he's Nicolette now. You should call DJ Deandra because he's Deandra now.
It's crazy.
Because I won a basketball championship. I was an all-pro. And I'm on the screen getting paid millions to tell you this. So believe it. I mean, dude, back in the day, your friends would clown you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In every culture. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I go back to movies like Goonies and all them little kid movies that they would just clown people.
Yeah.
You ain't never kissed no girl before, dude. I mean, all the classical movies. Now they got to be flipped the script because that's what they're going to do. Just how they went from the black and white movies to Technicolor. And you see when they make them Technicolor, there's something wrong with this movie. You ain't getting that spidey sense going off in your head. Then you got mental health problems. Think about, I'm going to say this last time and we out. If those people, the same ones in our community, they not putting doctors up there, lawyers, scientists, research people. They're saying, oh, listen to Charles Barkley. Listen to Stephen A. Smith. Listen to Bomani. You know, you could just put any athlete in. Oh, listen to Jay-Z. Oh, no, better yet, listen to Lil Nas X. He's a man and he's having a baby. It's real. And now here's the sickness of this. Here's the evilness in this. They got this clown on Sesame Street, bro.
Yeah, so.
So a young, fertile mind can be compromised at an early age.
Yeah, the most crucial time. That's when they absorbing everything.
But guess what? Let you say something about the alphabet mafia, and all hell come raining down. Real talk. But I can put this satanic stuff on PBS. Sesame Street. Oh, it's just fun and games. It's just puppets. No, it ain't. But all these bodies is getting slain in our community. Oh, no, that's nothing. Mental healthness, brother. And check your friends. And if your friends are starting to get compromised, help them get financially free. Because you can't compromise a financially free individual. Mm-hmm. And see, the other pushback, Delta is pushing back on that. Southwest is pushing back on that. The police departments are pushing back on that. You should think of, man, hey, man, go pick up a book. Go do some research. Again, meaningful, measurable, manageable, based on your interpretation and your comprehension. And then come to a conclusion. And if you choose that, hey, yep, that's the right thing for me to put in my body, go right ahead. I'm 100% for you. If you choose it's not, I'm 100% for you. I'm not going to bully you. That's another thing. Now, you got the government, you got the faith-based organizations all jumping on your back. And all you not asking is, where's the money? What's the motivation behind this? Where's the money, baby? Mm-hmm. Who's getting that check at the end of the rainbow?
Yep. Yep.
Think about it. That's all I got, brother.
Okay. Well, you know, the last thing I'll say, you know, is going back to those solutions about taking, you know, inventory of your mental health. So along with, you know, rating, you know, rating yourself on that scale of 1 to 10, I would also, you know, keep a journal and keep a notebook and keep a record of what specific feelings or what specific, you know, thoughts come to mind when you see or hear certain messages, you know, and you mentioned the financial health. When folks work with us and they fill out that survey, you know, you have questions on there about, you know, how concerned are you about your finances? You know, that's taking inventory of your mental health. So you should do the same thing, holistically.
Check it out. It's funny. It's funny you brought that up because these little 10 questions are emotional questions. Because if you're compromised, think about this. I sometimes worry about personal money problems. If you're worried about personal money problems and you at the job, how effective are you at your job? Because your money problems. And then you go home and you got behind on the job task, and now you're worrying about the job while you're at home. So you're running back and forth, confused, compromised, emotionally. So your emotional intelligence is lowering. Then I carry a balance on credit cards month to month. You don't think that's going to make you make bad decisions? One thing we talk about is that we don't do business with people who are under compulsion. Compulsion meaning you are stressed out and financially burdened that you will make decisions that are not normally the right decisions for you because you have a money problem. I am financing my holiday on credit. So if you go take the same equivalent of this mental questionnaire and where you rate on that, and we just have a simple checkbox, yes or no. I would like to reduce my taxes. Wow, taxes gone up 20-30%. Inflation 150% in some categories this year. So think about how that's affecting you mentally if you're compromised financially and you are afraid to lose that job that's underpaying you right now. So how hard will it be for me, Nick, to have you do something that's against your character and your morals because you're afraid to keep your job? Think about it.
Yeah.
Because you're concerned about 5-6 other people in your household, and you can't come back to them and say, oh, I stood on righteousness, but we're going to be out underneath the viaduct tomorrow. That little simple survey can make the difference between your stability and your schizophrenia.
Yep.
And we as a people, and I said I was wrapping up, and I'm like the Baptist minister again. We are so in love with entertainment, man.
Yeah.
We got to get away from that stuff. Mind your own business. Put your head in a book. And then when you discover something, go apply it. And I'm talking to myself, man, because I'm human too. I have people send me texts. Oh, you gotta see this. Why? If I'm doing what I gotta do, I don't need to live vicariously through anybody else. Good, bad, and different. I'm holding down my house. And if I'm holding down my house, I don't have time to look at that other BS. And know it, every now and then some of it is good. But guess what? What did that take me away from?
There you go.
Them little distractions, them little foxes. Turn this edutainment out and hold your standards to a higher platform. Challenge yourself. 1 week, turn everything off, pick up a book, get some knowledge, apply the knowledge, and see how much better you feel about yourself mentally. It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing how I work out and all of a sudden I feel energized.
Yeah.
Powerful. But as soon as I start reading some stuff, even if it's good stuff, it starts to bog me down. Because you in a world now of FOMO, fear of missing out. You ain't missing out nothing. Mind your own business and you will be healthily stable. Healthily stable. I don't even know if that's a word.
Hey.
And then you will attract to you what you are. Winner, leader, shepherd. And see, what we're sharing right now, it ain't popular. And so that's the reason why We don't have a mass following, but that's the reality of how sick people are. Because we can flip on another channel and they dancing, shaking their ass, they telling you the latest gossip and everything, and they got followers up the wazoo. That's a whole bunch of dead souls. And nobody's taking responsibility for that. I mean, think about that. Just real. And you have platforms that are teaching education, but again, they come in with that entertainment. Hey man, when it's time to go to real war, ain't gonna be no time for no entertainment. You want some real men carrying some real guns and putting up some real D's or got some real powerful pens to change the law in your favor, and they ain't gonna be entertainers. They're not gonna be basketball players. They're not gonna be actors. They're gonna be the ones running for shelter. Think about that. They're gonna have a bag and you're gonna be left empty. So this is Bet on Black. The men, the family, the legacy, bringing it to you real. And if you like real, then come on, subscribe, share, and like, because we need more. See, for a real man, he can stand tall, firm, because he's got truth in his life, and he knows the difference between biological men and women. And dude, over the last week, I heard people who was, oh man, I'm adamant, I'm not doing it. Then all of a sudden, some money got involved. Oh man, it's amazing. Oh, you know, I just went ahead and got it done, but I was so concerned about it. But as soon as that money got taken, and I always tell people this, and this is the last follow-up. I said, you want to get to the man? Because ain't no man in my life. I don't have no excuse about no man. But if you want to get to the man, hit the man in his pockets.
Yep.
Hit him in his money, take his assets, and take his life, and you'll get his attention. He ain't listening to this.
Right. Nah. Yeah, you can do
How
that all day.
amazingly is it, Nick, that every ethnicity group that comes here knows that message except for us. They come here and apply them same principles. They start small.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it'll be 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Next thing it's 100 of them. Then it's 1,000 of them. Because they know that truth, and we don't know it, and we hear it.
Right.
The first thing come out of our mouths, oh man, we were brought here. Dude, deal with the set of cards you were dealt. Because when your daughter and your son come up to you and ask you what real truth is, you're either going to tell them right or you're going to destroy your legacy. You're going to tell them, get debt free. Get yourself an asset that produces passive income. Even if you just get one a year, one every 2 years. If you do that over the course of a decade, you can have yourself 10, 20 assets producing $8, $9, $10,000 a month. And you ain't got to worry about nothing because you done paid everything off. It ain't sexy, but it sure is sexy when you got that real freedom.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a fact. And they coming. It ain't no coincidence that Biden is all of a sudden talking about, oh, we're going to have access to any transaction in your bank account, $600 or more.
Oh, well, hold on. That's tomorrow's topic.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's topic. Slow down, DJ. You killing them.
All right. Well, I said enough then, brother. I said enough.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and close this out. I feel like if I add anything else, you're gonna find Real talk. Well, I'll finish my last thought that that I was saying was about just taking inventory of your mental health. Journaling. I spoke about writing a few weeks ago. So journaling, writing down that number on that scale of 1 to 10, and also, just paying attention to what you're consuming. Like DJ said, he feels an elevation when he gets into a book or when he exercises. So, do that experiment, read a book, write down how you feel, from that, turn the TV on, write down, whatever emotions, come up when you're watching certain programs. And you may be surprised about what you find out, because a lot, just one more thing about this psychological experiment, much of it is subconscious. We're a lot of it, we're not conscious of it happening to us. But when you make it a point to make a conscious effort to be aware of it, you'll be surprised about how much, all these messages are affecting you. So that, that's the last thing I'm gonna leave off with,
Hey, and I'm gonna just leave this. It's no coincidence. When I went to school to get my degree in broadcast journalism and television production, they showed us that from age 0 to 18, kids were fed 2 million commercials. 2 million. And why is it that subliminal messages have been outlawed? And why is it that only 2 countries in the world allow pharmaceutical advertisements on the planet? United States and Australia. And I will leave you with that.
Wow. Drop the mic on that one. Yeah. All right, so closing. You've been watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And again, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, we wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that is plenty of money, peace of mind, and we want you deserve to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And your beach may not be next to sand or water, but your beach is where you find your financial freedom, your peace of mind, and your positive mental health. So until the next episode of Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy, take care, and we'll see you again soon.
Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101 that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and it puts you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us.
My name is Clarence. I'm with Great Lakes Property Management Group, and I just wanted today to give a testimonial on the ABCs of Wealth by Dale Duransberg. I call him DJ. Just wanted to say, as I was reading this, I was expecting something a little different. I thought it was going to be all nuts and bolts, because that's the kind of guy Dale is. Dale is all about the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. Well, this book turned out to be both a little bit of nuts and bolts, but a lot of motivation. So if you're someone that's on the fence, looking to get started, just trying to figure out how to do something or what to do, get motivated to get off that couch, I recommend you pick up this book. It's going to get you to move. The motivation, the nuggets that are in here is going to definitely help you in all things that you do in life. Good job, Dale. Love you, man.
Hi, I'm Markel. I work as a long-term forecast analyst for Disney Streaming. I met Dale at Erica's Classic Climb tour in Atlanta and signed up for his services. Prior to that, I'd done a lot of research on my own to try to improve my finances, and I made some progress, but I was really stagnant and just not sure what to do next. So I was a bit apprehensive about sharing all my financial information and then having a discussion about it, but Dale made me feel very comfortable. He wasn't judgmental, and it was just my starting point. He explained to me how to get rid of my student loans, my old student loans that I thought were just insurmountable. He helped me with strategies to reduce my expenses that don't make me feel like I'm sacrificing anything. And it's not the same information that you find like rehashed and repackaged for the internet. It's personalized advice. It considers your current situation, where you are, your goals, and your level of comfort. We put together a realistic plan of things that I can do immediately, things over the next few months, the next year, and then long term. I feel very optimistic and excited about my plan and that things are clear for me. And it also is motivating me to try to find more income to get to my goals even faster. Dale is very knowledgeable, very sharp. He was able to answer all of my questions, and anything that he felt like was out of his scope, he has like a network of people, professionals who are vetted that he uses himself and he can refer you to. I appreciate that he offers this service and like shares all of his real world knowledge and experience he's gained over many years in the business. I think that that's very valuable and not so easy to find. Dale is very passionate about what he does, and I highly recommend working with him.
Hello, my name is Tim from Southern California. Just want to give a testimony for DJ the Money Coach. Just had a recent consultation with him over the face-to-face Zoom call and gave me some valuable insight as far as financially wise and how to move forward with my life. And we'll recommend him to anybody and everybody if they want to improve their life financially as well. So definitely, again, nothing but great services and feedback. What I've received thus far from DJ the Money Coach, and I advise anybody and everybody about his services.